Hello and welcome to Yakety Mac, y'all. I am Jeff, and boy, do I have a project for today. I am about to convert my OldTown Sportsman 106 PDL, that sure is a lot to say, into a do-it-yourself version of a 106 powered by Minn Kota. And I'm going to do it for about $350, excluding the battery. Guys, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to film every step of this process, but the video you're about to watch is going to be highly edited. I'm going to talk about some key points as we go, and I'm going to show some progress reports, and then this is going to culminate with what is hopefully a successful on-the-water experiment. If there is something throughout this process that you have a question about, by all means, let me know in the comments. If I can't reply via text, then I'll make a video and show you some additional footage that I have. So guys, let's get to this. Okay guys, I have everything set in place now. I've got the depth of the motor where I need it. It is a little more than 12 inches submerged from the bottom of the boat, the water line, which is what is recommended. So it has increased the overall footprint of the kayak by 4.5 inches. The pedal unit from the bottom of the boat to the bottom of the pedal unit is 13 inches. I'm at 17.5 here now with the trolling motor. I went with the 30-pound thrust, 30-inch shaft, thinking that that would be about the right height, and I believe it's going to be. Once I get the head mounted back on here, it should just be a simple reach out and grab the handle. I shouldn't be leaning down, or I shouldn't have it raised way up. So I think this is going to work. I could have gone with a higher thrust and a longer shaft, but I definitely would have had to have cut that down. So it's time to reinstall the head now and see, make it ergonomically correct. Then it's a matter of hooking up some battery cables and turning it on. Let's see. Well, all right, guys. So all I've got left to do now is hook these cables up to my extension cables that are running to the battery that I have in the back. And I'm going to fire it up and see if it works. I have no reason to doubt that it won't. The interesting part is going to be on the water, how much water comes up through the bottom here where the insert plate is at. I don't think it's going to be a ton. I set the motor pretty well down into the water. And choosing to not cut off the shaft, I think, was a wise idea for me. It is exactly kind of the height that I wanted at. Yeah, it's up here a little bit. I mean, it's not going to interfere with my casting or anything of that sort. I would like it if the motor were more low profile, but then that would mean that I would have to reach down every single time I wanted to operate it. Now, as it is, I can bring the handle out to me here just a little bit. So I can be casting and still kind of move that at the same time, or if I need to bump it or turn it off or whatever, I'll be able to do so. So this right here, in my head, conceptually, this is going to work out great. I can't wait to give it a shot. So let's hook up the battery and see what happens next. So guys, the battery is all hooked up now. I've got some cables run up underneath the seat. This is not my permanent solution. These are the 5-foot extension cables that I took off of my Bass Raider simply for this install, because my 10-foot extension cables and my through haul kit are not going to make it in time. But those will be here in a couple of days, and then I'm going to run the 10-foot wires right here through the front, through the hull, and out the back, so I'll have a nice clean cockpit up here. But right now I got them under the seat. Here we go. So cool. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to get this on the water. I don't know if I should go today. It's like 2:30, or if I should go in the morning. Man, we've had a ton of rain, so the water's going to be high. It's probably going to be moving a bit too, so that'll be a pretty good test for this thing. This is exciting, man. This is so cool. It's a game changer, guys. Not because I don't like pedaling. I love my pedal unit. But if you're out on the water for 9 hours in a tournament, man, it can get exhausting, you know, especially if you're making long trips to, say, your starting point, or let's say wherever you're starting from is just not producing, and you want to make a run either up the lake or down on the south end or wherever it may be. It takes so much time and so much energy, and of course, the further you get away from the boat ramp, the further you have to pedal back at the end of the tournament. And I live in the deep south. It gets brutally hot here in the summertime. This is going to be a lifesaver, I think, guys. And if I get into really shallow water, so the reason I mounted it using this transit mount, you know, like you would see on a typical any sort of boat, instead of just running it directly through the plate and coming up with a way to secure it. The reason I did that is because I want an easy way to raise the motor up if I need to without adjusting my depth collar. I want to leave my depth collar where it's at so that I'm always going back down into the exact same depth. But now I can easily pull it up if I'm going up into shallow water. And the other thing that I'm going to do, and I highly suggest anyone who's thinking about doing this, along with my 10-foot cables coming, is a quick disconnect. And that is going to be right here. So even though I plan on running the wires, I may put the disconnect right here. I'm not sure yet. I'll find a convenient place for it. But any time at all that I'm going to be loading, unloading, or raising this motor or anything of that sort, I'm going to reach down here and disconnect. So therefore the juice is not going to, and I don't accidentally turn the motor on and hit the kayak with it or damage it somehow, damage the kayak or damage the motor. So I highly recommend a quick disconnect. The one I have ordered is a Minn Kota disconnect. I'll probably mount it right here. It's real easy to reach down there and pull to disconnect it to raise the motor up when I'm going into shallow water. So let's get this thing on the water and see what it does, guys. I paddled myself away from the dock just like I always do, even if I have my pedal unit. So I'm going to paddle myself out here. I am already in 8.5 feet of water, so I'm in plenty deep enough water to go ahead and deploy the trolling motor. So I'm working with a new camera system over my shoulder. Hopefully it's catching the front portion of the kayak so that I can show you the deploying of the motor. Pop out the insert plate just like I normally would. Pop in the motor, lock it in place. Drop it down to my depth collar. Here we go. So this is speed 1. Motoring along quite nicely. Speed 2. My plan is to steer with the rudder. Speed 3. Got some head vibration for sure on speed 3. But man, I'm moving along nice.
This is nice. Let's go speed 4. Depth finder is working out fine. It's not interfering with the depth finder at all. Let's go all the way up to speed 5. Yep, that does have miles per hour. And right now we are at 3.7 miles an hour on speed 5. Steering with the rudder, I am able to make turns very easily. Water, let me pull this off and show it to you guys real quick. Very minimal water on speed 5. Just a little bit coming up and around the plate. To be honest, that's not any more than what I would get if I was pedaling full speed on my with my PDL unit. Back down to speed 1, you can see the water is pretty much drained out now. So wow, I would call that a success, guys. So now, as far as just the operation goes, we know it works. I'm going to do a little bit of fishing and see if this interferes or how I'm able to maneuver in and around tight spots. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. This is so cool. This is so freaking cool.
So y'all, I don't know that there is a better word to describe today's test than success. I mean, it was everything I had hoped it would be. 30-pound thrust was plenty enough to get this kayak moving. So on a setting 5 of this, I was getting anywhere between 3.5 to like 3.8, which was fine. That's better than I can do, especially for any sort of sustained period of time with the pedaling of the kayak. So that was more than I could hope for. On setting 2 or 3, you're just kind of coasting along nicely. You know, and you can steer with the motor, you can steer with the rudder, you can steer with both. I actually found that to be kind of useful when I was in tight quarters and I wanted to spin really tight, something you could not do before. So I could turn the motor, I could turn the rudder, and I would just basically pivot in place. That was a really nice thing to be able to do. So guys, I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate you following on this journey. If you've got any questions at all, absolutely leave them in the comments and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And hey, look, if you enjoyed this little project, do me a favor. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that thumbs up. It's kind of the cool thing to do. I do that for every single video that I watch. And then if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll subscribe. You know, I try to post content about weekly, and I try to put something of value out if I can. You know, so I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Share this video with other people. If you know some folks that own an OldTown 106 PDL or a 120 even, share this video with them. Maybe spark an idea. Maybe someone will come up with something even better. You know, I did some research online before I did this, and I didn't find anything out there that I thought was really good. I didn't see anything that I liked, and so you know, that's what made me dream this thing up kind of on its own. I just didn't see anything out there. I mean, you had people running PVC stuff. I didn't want to deal with any of that, and so I'm very happy. This is about as clean as I could make it. It's going to be even cleaner once my extended cables get here and I'm able to run them through the hull. But now I'm rambling, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share, please. And hey, no matter what you've got going on in your life, always take time to get outside and play.